Yu-Gi-Oh! Mint.com is now TradingCardMint.com. Please check out their selection of over 20,000 cards with prices cheaper than TCG Player.
Alright, so we began our Asia Circuit playtesting, and I want to say this. I think that this deck is a lot better than I initially gave it credit for. My friends have literally dubbed this deck the Counterblast 1 Quad Drive for the turn. Honestly, when I first looked at DP off of the OCG when they did their little fight during the stream, I was very disappointed with the way it looked. And then some of the Japanese players started evolving the deck. And I have one of the list, wanted a profile ahead of time. I might start changing some things once the set actually releases. But this is to kind of whet your appetite a little bit here. Now, this is a Force clan, so of course we do get the cool Force markers. But literally, all you do with this deck is you slam everything on the Vanguard, and you go, baby. We don't have guard denial, which kind of sucks, but you take it for what it's worth. So guys, check out our friends at TradingCardMint.com down below in the description. They will have the product for this set available at some point before set release. So if you want to get ahead of the curve, enter MCOL40 and stay alert. If there's other stuff that you want to pick up from other sets as well, they will have that. So, welcome to Dimensional Police. Now, I'm not Different Fight, and I'm assuming that a lot of people will be like, oh, how dare you talk about D-Police. I love this deck. I've always loved Gundam the deck. A few people will be like, well, Nova Grappler's a better Nova deck because of Blau and stuff, but hear me out. I love Dayusha. I love the concepts with it. So this might be a breath of fresh air for some people, getting a different perspective on it, just for generalized testing. So, Dayusha, on-ride Force marker, of course, continuous. If he's 35,000 or greater on swing, gains an extra critical, right? And then once per turn, you can rest as many units as you want, and then he gains 10k for every rested unit. Sometimes you want to just throw down a bad resource to kind of take advantage of the situation, get an extra card out of your hand. Good example is the grade 1 that says no interceptors. You can rest that, no problem, as long as your Vanguard's 30,000 or greater. So this deck does not care about its back row at times. You just want to get to the numbers. So your best aspect of this deck is you want to go first. If you go second, you're kind of behind a turn because super great Dayusha guy says, well, hey, you have to wait a turn. So basically, on the turn of grade 3 is not placed, if your Vanguard's power is 45,000 or greater, Counterblast 1, ride this as stand from your hand, you gain the Force marker, on ride 3 of your units in the front row gain 10k, and then him himself gets 10k as well. So you're literally getting an extra 30,000 power for brick riding on top of this guy. Like, seems really good, right? But Counterblast 1 Quad Drive, anybody. Seems good. This particular deck does play an increased amount of draw triggers to literally assure that you are getting to this. Now, one of the things that this deck lacked that I think a lot of other decks, or that this particular clan lacked that some other clans can't really make up for, but this one can. We are playing 3 copies of this. Now, for those of you that don't know what this does, your Vanguard's power is 30,000 or greater. He gains 5,000 and a critical +1. If you do this, this goes up to 28. If you give it the Force marker off of the rewrite on this, this is 38 crit 2. Alright? Anyone else see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Pressure, pressure, pressure. Now, there are some really weird scenarios where sometimes the extra grade 3s can clog you, but it's fine. But you want this on rearguard circle ASAP, and being that threatening card that it is, there's a lot that this can do, and I think that this is a great tech choice from the OCG side. If anything, just the pressure that he generates is absolutely dumb. Like, if you have 2 of these out here and you have this, like, this is a turn. Like, these are both 28s. Like, and your opponent can't let these hit if they're at 4 damage. Like, it's super threatening. A lot more than I thought it would be. Grade 2s, playing 4 copies of this. Slow Blast 1, give your Vanguard 5k on attack. Continuous if your Vanguard is 30,000 or more. 35 or more? Never remember. Yeah, if your Vanguard's power is 30,000 or more, this guy gets 10k. So, fun fact, 10k, if you rewrite the Dayusha, 20k is on effect maxing 30k. If you've realized anything by now, deck is just kind of super columns of the deck. This card is actually a little bit better than I thought it was, too. I don't know. And now, this one's going to confuse people. So, this is Mr. Mystery, as I'm going to call him. His continuous ability, if your Vanguard is grade 3 on the Guardian Circle, this card gains 10k shield. This is a 15k grade 2 with 9,000. Now, your standard Force clans, I understand you want 10k bases, but I don't mind having this be 9k. In this, one of the things you have to understand is sometimes your shield value in this deck can get disrupted because we're playing more draws. So this allows you to alleviate that pressure. So that extra 10k shield is actually really critical at times. A lot more than I thought it was going to be. So there's that. And then the last 2 grade 2s, we're playing 2 10ks. Extra shield value, baby. I mean, we don't really care about our grade 2s that much besides Die Dragon. Like, we can dedicate our shield value to these cards. So, kind of something. If not, this is a pure 10k attacker by itself. So, with intercepting shield value. So, I'll take it. It's all within the realm of pressure. Like, you have to decide how you want to do your matchups. So, there's that. Ah, yes, this guy. Soul Blast 1, give Vanguard 5k. Put this into the soul of Vanguard's attack hits. Is there a power restriction on this? No, it's put in the soul, draw a card of the Vanguard's deck hits. Kind of forget that effect sometimes. I usually just call this out, rest it. Also, this doesn't have to be boosting the Vanguard. You can put this on a side column over here, swing with it, and then it can get eaten into the soul for the draw card. Actually, really good support. So for those, we're playing 4 copies of Douchebag. I actually thought this card was terrible. Resting 4, doubling your Vanguard's power and giving it an extra critical. I was like, oh man, this is terrible. No, that's actually really good. If your opponent's on a 2-card hand, and you know what your opponent's hand is, call this rest 4, double your Vanguard's power, give it the extra critical. Laugh at your opponent as the attack is essentially unguardable. I will say this, I love this card. I think Laurel was a great addition to this. This card actually almost basically eclipses old Laurel. And that's really hard to say. Good job. 6k in this day and age. Really good, actually. 2 copies of this guy. Continuous, if your Vanguard's power is 30,000 or greater, your opponent can intercept. I'm really sick of my opponent throwing out 2 grade 2s and like, oh, I can intercept them. Like, no, stop. Also, if you're on the Dayusha, feel free to rest these up, give yourself some power, because this is a continuous ability. So you do get to take full advantage of these guys. So, and then 2 copies of this. Give your Vanguard the skill of forcing your opponent to call multiple cards to Guardian Circle to guard. I understand why you play this. Kind of wish this could be better than it actually is, but I mean, you're committed to it. So there's that. All right, triggers. Now we are playing 4 copies of the heal trigger. 20k shield value, absolutely needed. Absolutely. And then we're playing 8 draws. First thing you're probably going to be like is, oh, why are you doing this and not crits? So you need to make sure that you draw into other Dayusha. That's the thing. You still have to go find a friend in order to do combos. Also, getting these on the defense is actually really fucking good. That's why we can compensate the shield value into the grade 2s and kind of take away from there, because these give you essential access to be more defensive. And I think it's very important to understand just what your deck can do. You're literally just turboing to make sure that you can get to that resource game to start quad-driving your opponent every turn. That's really all the deck is. But go find resources. Very, very critical. And then, of course, 4 critical triggers. No real reason not to play this. I think the deck gets away with playing the mass amount of draws very freely. And, of course, our draw 1 starter. So, nothing real too explanatory to go into there. I honestly think that this deck is a lot of fun. I'm most excited to play this in Standard. I know a lot of people are excited for Grand Blue and Aqua Force, but quad drive every turn. Whew. It's fine by me. So guys, please check out our friends at tradingcardmint.com down below in the description. Please tell me you guys think about this. And yes, we will have a premium build of this at some point, because you bet your ass we're going to play some fucking D-Police. So, that's all I got, guys. Peace on out.